G'day everyone, I'm the Anti-Theocrat, back for another one, the first of 2020. Now, during the bushfires here in Australia, everyone decided that this year they would politicise the fires and make it all about climate change. Well, I'd just like to say that climate change, whether it had an impact or not, that's up to you whether you decide that it was an important factor. Land management and all those other things are definitely factors as well, so we can't ignore that. The one thing we can ignore is the fires are because of climate change. The first thing we'd have to do is name everybody arrested for arson climate change, and then we'd have to call ignition points climate change. Because fire doesn't happen because the day is 45 degrees C and there are dry leaves on the ground. You need an ignition point. And we know that the most significant ignition point when fires happen like this is humans. We know this. We know that humans, whether it's the incinerator in the backyard, the barbecue, the campfire, that got all those things that got away, or the arsonists, who the police last time I saw were only claiming there was 24, even though they've arrested more than 200 people on fire-related offences. And that's only the people they caught. Imagine how many they didn't catch. But yeah, even if you only count 24 actual arsonists who went out and lit fires, how many people lit fires that escaped? A lot of those 200 odd people were doing exactly that. They were lighting things like campfires or throwing cigarette butts out the window. These things can all become ignition points. The cigarette butt is probably one of the least likely, but it is more likely to set a fire blazing than the sun on a 45 degree day. Excuse me. So let's take a look at the Greens' message on their Facebook page, shall we? This is their storyline, and they've given us 5 slides. You can see the 5 slide markers up here. So let's have a quick gander at this, shall we? Anxious about the climate crisis? What it means to our collective futures? Yeah, sometimes I feel like this, and sometimes like that. So they invested well in artwork. I can only recommend that if you are using the words climate crisis, you're a fucking retard, because this has been going on. I was writing about this for a newspaper 15 years ago when they were saying we had 3 to 7 years, depending who you were talking to, for the turnaround point for the climate. Now, both of those passed quite a long time ago for me. That was 8 and 12 years ago, thereabouts. The turning points for climate change happened when I was actually writing about this shit, when I was writing an environmental column for a newspaper. So telling me that it's 3 or 7, or as some idiot the other day said, 6 months, fucking boy, her anxiety levels must be high. Telling me these things 8 and 12 years after the dates that I knew 15 years ago, you can just take a leap off something very tall. Do it. Just fucking do it. I don't want to hear from you anymore. You're not worth saving. This climate crisis thing is fucking laughable. Anyway, oh, by the way, you're all fucking pussies if you've got anxiety over this shit. Fucking pussies. Absolute fucking pussies. Grow the fuck up. Oh, shut up. Go the right way. You're not alone. Climate anxiety is completely normal. No, it's fucking not. This is something you've promoted and made up. You've got all these fucking kids so worked up that the world is going to end tomorrow that they've suddenly got this new fucking disease called climate anxiety. Go fuck yourselves. This is a disease caused by people like the Australian Green Party. There's a political party in our federal and state, or even in councils. This is an Australian political party which has gone out of its way to create a new anxiety in young people, like they fucking needed it. The big systemic change we needed can feel enormous and like it's moving so slowly. But it is moving. Yeah, I think it's moving against you. I think you will find there are more and more people looking at the shit that you're doing and saying and thinking you're just fucking crazy people. In your little circles, it looks great for you. Fucking step out of them for a bit. And I tell you, I've been in those circles. I'm on the outside, looking back in. And you're fucking just crazy people. Okay. Tips you might need to help your feels. Oh, your little feels. Oh, you delicate little flowers. Go fuck yourselves. Know that you're not alone. Take action. Every little bit counts. Advocate for change. Your voice matters. Okay, so the first three are just dig yourself deeper into your anxiety. This is their cure for anxiety, climate anxiety, is dig yourself even deeper into it. Sounds plausible to me. Talk to others, and I'm guessing they mean within your circles. So, this is just, again, digging yourself deeper in, because you don't want to talk to people outside the cult. You might actually fucking step away and realise that it's not all it's cracked up to be. Take a break. And this one is the one I actually stand by. I'm with the Greens on this one. All you fucking little kiddies and your anxiety. Take a break. Walk away. Look back at what you have been and what you've been doing. The things you've been told. Take a look again. Take a word from someone like me who wrote about this 15 years ago. And what I was writing 15 years ago. Based on what I was being told 15 years ago, because nothing has changed. All right? All the South Sea islands should have disappeared by now. All those little islands that everyone keeps moaning about them sinking. Well, half of them aren't sinking, half of them are rising, and a few of them are sinking, which is not because of the ocean levels. Well, they'd all be fucking sinking. So you work this shit out. I mean, seriously. Take a break, step back, take a look at what you've been doing. Work this shit out. It'll do wonders for your anxiety. Remember what has been done. I can tell you now, apart from greater investment in alternate energy technologies and, power reduction technology was already well in the way because power's not cheap and people want cheaper ways to do it. But I have to admit that to some degree environmental action has played a part in Australia we no longer use incandescent lamps. We use more polluting lamps instead, ones that cost a bit more to the environment to make. Luckily those things are localized in third world nations, so we don't give a fuck. But anyway, what has actually been done? Pretty much nothing, really. Even the Paris climate agreements let third world and developing nations like China is not a developing nation, but like China, not only continue with their CO2 levels, but increasing them. Now, I believe China has 40% they can increase by. That's probably 40 Australias they're allowed to increase their CO2 by, but we're supposed to reduce ours. No, it's just, you can go and fuck off. As far as I can tell, you've really done bugger all. Really, really achieved bugger all. There are more solar plants going up around the place because there's money in it. That's where the real action is. It's not you fucking anxious little twats running around going all over the place. Fact is, there's money in it. Be kind to yourself. Just don't be a pussy, I think that should say. Okay, now this one's insulting. History has shown when we come together, change can happen. Now this is insulting to these human rights. A US civil rights movement, marriage equality, safe access to abortion. Now, some of you might think that these are not necessarily human rights, but that's all right. I'm putting them under that banner because I don't care, right wing, left wing, whatever. If we put them under a banner, they are human endeavours for humans, right? These were things that changed to allow humans something, a modicum of decency or whatever. Maybe you think marriage equality is depravity, but or abortion is murder. Doesn't really matter, okay? These were rights issued to people on a local level, not a worldwide level. Not one of these movements had a global effect. Yet, we can do it again with action on the climate crisis. Together we can do anything, together we can do it. Yeah, chant the fucking mantra, go on. Not one of these was a global movement that had an impact like you would be expecting for your climate crisis. You are being extremely insulting towards these human rights movements and claiming things that are categorically incorrect. This is a national political party in Australia. And I know this happens in other countries. But anyway, the Australian Greens, vote for these people, you're voting for fuckwits. And I've done it. A long time ago, they looked like they were actually getting their act together. Won't do it again. But it'll take all of us together. Let's make sure we're looking after ourselves and each other. Just don't be fucking pussies. And as to looking after each other, walk away, take a break from the cult. You will feel much better. Alright. I was not going to spend too long on this one because I actually want to cover an article. And now I've got to find the damn article, don't I? Righto. Where are we? Hello. Oh, hang on. We'll have a quick squiz at this one, shall we? The ABC finalises its Q&A investigation over radical views and complaints. The ABC has finalised its investigation into Q&A. Now, we remember I did a 3-part video series on this, and if you didn't watch it, go and watch it. Now, go and watch it. I think I did a great job covering it. Last month's controversial feminist episode won't be returning to the digital platforms. I do have it linked in my my coverage, the full video, the full episode if you want, and if you can't find it, let me know and I will repost it somewhere, because the idea the ABC censored this crap that they put up, because that's what they've essentially done. They've hidden their history of feminist activism, their political bias, and I don't think they have any right to hide this from us. So I have covered the entire video in my 3-part series, but I also have linked to the original if you don't want to put up with my commentary. An ABC spokesman said sufficient action had been taken. Sufficient action had been taken that they removed the videos, that they censored the videos so nobody in the future will know what they did. That's their cure. That's it. Sufficient action has been taken. There's no fucking kick in the pants for the directors who... The November 4th episode was broadcast in conjunction with the Wheelers Centre's Feminist Ideas Festival Broadside. While the program was pulled from digital platforms, a transcript of the episode was still available. But who reads the fucking transcripts, I ask you? And how do you get the true impact of the show from the transcripts? In any case, nobody reads past headlines anymore. This is censoring. But this was the Wheeler Centre's Feminists Ideal Festival, which is run at the same time as the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Now, they could have taken comedians and put together a bench and done something really fucking out there, just having a laugh. But no, they took the political perspective and ran with it. But they've taken sufficient action. They've censored it so none of us will fucking know what went on. Well, if my 3-part series ever disappears offline, and if the full episode that I have posted ever disappears offline, and I know other people have done the same covering this, we'll just fucking repost them, because I'm not letting this fucking disappear. This is our taxpayer-funded national broadcaster here in Australia, the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation these days, or it's a corporation these days, I'm pretty sure. And they got no right to censor this shit. They're not meant to be political bias, show political bias for a start, but this was pure political bias. Not the article I was looking for. This is the one we're looking for. From whoever Shape are. I don't know who Shape.com are, and I don't give much of a fuck. The story itself is the important part. Thinks, which I think is a wrong name for this company. I think it's I think it's more about cult indoctrination than actually being a company that sells a product of any worth. So you could call it indoctrination, but I'd like to call the company dumb fuckery. But anyway, they call themselves Thinks, and I'm just going to run with that for the article. You can think of them as dumb fuckery if you want. I do. Think's first national ad campaign imagines a world where everyone gets periods, including men. This is the feminist ideal that if men had periods too, women would have a more pleasant time about their periods. But can we just face the fucking fact that there are women out in the world who don't want to see you fucking bleeding down your leg? They don't want to go down on you while you're fucking bleeding. They don't want to poke their fingers in there and rummage around in the blood. Right? There are women who don't want to do that. What the fuck makes you think that if men had periods, anyone would want to rummage around in theirs any more than yours? It smells nasty. It looks nasty. It's perfectly fucking natural and we shouldn't be ashamed of it. But that doesn't mean we want to be rummaged around in there, right? It means that we do our best to keep clean and healthy and move on with our fucking lives. But no, you can't. You've got to play this. Oh, if men had periods, women wouldn't be as ashamed of them. No, then men would be ashamed of them too. And I don't think shame's the right thing to be suffering. But, you know, that's the way people are. You cannot change this. Thinks has been reinventing the conventional wheel on periods since it was founded in 2013 by some fucking retards, I'm guessing. First, the feminine hygiene company launched period underwear designed to be leak resistant, so you can free bleed even on your heaviest days. I have a really unique name for them for this product, seeing as they've gone to all the effort of creating it. Doesn't seem to have a name. You can call it swimwear. You know, you fucking just flood out and you just swim around in it all day. You're fucking sitting on your seat in your office and it's just fucking sloshing around your ass, and you get up and it sort of goes glug, 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 glug in your pants. Go for it. Just do it, ladies. Wear swimwear today. The brand created a period sex blanket in an effort to lift the taboo surrounding sex during that time of the month. Yeah, didn't I just say there are women who don't want to go down there poking around in that shit? What makes you think it's something that men need to do or feel the need to do? There are women who, when on their periods, don't necessarily want other people poking around in it, right? It's just the way it is, you know? But rubber sheets and mattress protectors have existed for a very long time. We didn't need another product. But you've created one. Do you need another name? I've got your pants. You can call them swimwear. How about kiddie pool for the blanket? We call it the kiddie pool because everyone can just slosh around in it. Shh, I'm recording. What?
I'm stuck in the pool in my game.
Well, coming in here, pressing a button on the controller doesn't do anything.
It's too deep. I can't get out.
Okay, you'll have to build something to get out.
I can't put any blocks in the water. They just go down really deep. And I put them in the water.
Well, I don't know. I don't play Minecraft. 4-year-olds playing Minecraft. Yes, so how about we call this blanket a kiddie pool? You reckon? You reckon we can do that? Because you just swim around in it. Woohoo! Luxuriate. You can lay back with a beer and enjoy the sensation of the warm, red, lumpy, slightly slimy, lovely smelling. Oh, gets a whiff of that. Swimming pool odour. So, wear your swimwear in the pool, you'll be fine. More recently, Thanks also started selling an FDA cleared reusable tampon applicator, an eco-friendly solution for the traditional plastic applicator tampons. This is only an applicator for the tampons. It doesn't solve the problem of the tampons not being eco-friendly at all, does it? I bet these are the same sorts of people who think climate change is in crisis. There's a climate crisis on us. So they've created a tampon applicator because the most important thing apparently to feminists is that you be able to insert things in your vag. That's it. They want you to be able to insert. I have known many women who use swatches of cloth and rewash them continually. And they would cut up shirts and things, and you can create your own, and you wash them, hang them out, move on to the next one. This is how they do it in other parts of the world. You don't need the disposables at all, and you certainly don't need to insert anything. Why the fuck do you think inserting is the only option? Look, there is this massively rabid lesbian feminist group within feminism, rabid feminists all over the fucking shop. What is it? Sorry, dyke feminists. What is it with fucking dykes? They want to insert things all the fucking time. Anyway, just asking what I thought were pretty obvious questions, really. On top of offering alternatives to tampons and pads, no, you haven't really offered an alternative to tampons. You've just offered a different way of inserting them. As to pads, look, swimwear is one thing, but it's not really an alternative. It's just not. And further down, we will find out why it's not an alternative. But we'll get there, huh? Thinks has been on a mission to stop glossing over the realities that women face once a month. Well, it's more than once, isn't it? But anyway, it happens over a period. Woohoo! And break the archaic stigmas surrounding periods once and for all. Look, you're not going to break this fucking stigma. It's not just men, okay, that are the enemy here. There are men who will do all the fucking things you want. I've had the red on. I've had the red coat on. But, most people, and me included, would prefer not to. It's just, even the women don't want you there. Right? This is just quite normal. You're all fucking freaks, these people who think that you have to be fucking the blood. Really? You don't have to. You do not have to fuck all the time, for that matter. You're allowed to take some time off. Right? doesn't have to be a daily occurrence. Fuck. They wonder why people talk about porn addiction in this day and age. It's because everyone thinks they need to do it all the time. In any case, we're talking about the stigma women face. What about teenage boys who've got a half Nelson or even a full-on stiffy in the classroom, and the class ends and they have to shuffle their books or their school bag around to try and hide that thing so they can get up from their desk and walk out of the classroom? Tell you, that was me for a couple of years. What about that? Is this an embarrassment we're allowed to talk about and discuss? Is there a cure for it other than fucking strapping the thing down hard with a jock strap? Because I tell you what, strapping that fucking thing down can be painful. So what's the solution? We just let them free. Let's free erect. Okay? Guys, we've got a plan. Free erect. Sorry. I just don't even want to think about that. It's like all those women getting their tits out for feminism in the streets, you know. Women's rights, I'm getting my tits out. I love tits, don't get me wrong. You can show them anywhere. I don't have to pay for them. That's fine, you know. Get them out. I'll look. But I don't need that in public, really. It's just not necessary. The world's made of so many more things than tits and dicks. Some of us actually have lives. We have interests. Okay, in fact, earlier this year, Thinks debuted its People with Periods campaign. That'd mean women, I'm guessing. The first of its kind to feature a transgender women, who shed light on the often unrecognised yet important need for menstrual care amongst trans men. What we're talking about is women who haven't had hysterectomies and are still menstruating. These are women. Biologically, they are women. Functionally, they are women. These are the man-women who everyone goes, oh, look, a man had a baby. No, that was a biological woman having a baby. Grow the fuck up. And as to what do they want? Do they want tampons in the men's, shaving section at the supermarket? You can't walk down that extra couple of bays and buy the tampons in the women's section. Now, I'm an at-home father. I do a lot of the shopping in our household, and quite often I buy pads for my partners. I can walk from the men's section to the women's section to buy tampons. Well, pads are the usual in our household, because apparently insertion is not what every woman wants to do, regardless how much you scream tampon at them. But yes, I'm capable of walking down that aisle to the other end and buying feminine hygiene products. What the fuck is wrong with your legs? So we're talking about women still, but it has to be about trans, and therefore they're men, aren't they? No, they're fucking not. Just grow up. Now, Thinks has launched its first national ad campaign, cheekily dubbed Menstruation. The powerful ad imagines a world where everyone has periods, men included, and implores you to consider this question: if all people got periods, would it still be so uncomfortable talking about them? Yes, because they are still smelly, messy, nasty things. It doesn't mean they are wrong, but people don't want to be playing around with that shit, even when it's their own. They would rather not have to. But it's all about blaming men, which is why they have to make this menstruation campaign, because apparently all the stigma is about men. The national ad campaign features cisgender men in different but super common situations that women face during the time of month. It starts with a boy telling his dad he got his period for the first time. So it starts with biological fiction. It starts with an unreal situation. Is it aimed at kids? Is it aimed at young boys? Or is it aimed at the fathers? Whichever way it is, it's just bullshit. if the daughter had come in and said she had hers for the first time to the father. Now this might be an interesting ad. I could actually get along with that ad, because I'm an at-home father raising my kids. Whatever it is that they have to deal with, I have to deal with. So, what's wrong with fathers dealing with their daughters having periods? Why do you have to make this about sons? Okay, it starts with a young boy telling his dad that he got his period for the first time. Then a man is seen lying in bed and rolls over to find a blood stain on the sheet. Yeah, I've rolled over to find a blood stain on a sheet. Not mine, but a blood stain on a sheet. You know what I do? I strip the bed, I wash the bedding, I put it back on the bed when it's clean and dry. What the fuck is your problem? This is another one you could be addressing from the perspective of a man finding someone else's blood. Why do you have to try for this fucking gender switch thing? Because you think this is all about men, don't you? You think men need to see this in their own terms. They can't see it as a thing they do to care for the women in their lives. They only care if it's about themselves. Go and take a flying fucking leap. You know, all I see when I read something like this is you projecting your lack of empathy. You don't understand what men will do, what they do for their partners, for their daughters, for their mothers. You don't do these things for your sons, brothers, or fathers. So you project that men have the same lack of empathy that you have. Maybe you're raised with a single mother and you never had a male figure in your life to do these things for you, and you project your entire lack of knowledge of the male gender through this sort of shit. I'm telling you now, you put men in these situations, they deal with them very well on the whole, and will take responsibility for things that need responsibility taken for them. Men are great at taking responsibility. When do women get to do that job? Okay. The powerful ad imagines a world where everyone has periods, including men, and implores that you consider this question. If all people got them, would be uncomfortable talking about. Yes. Cisgender man. Right, we're up to later. Another man walks through a locker room with a tampon string hanging out of under his briefs. Right. So this is not at all about men. This is about women shaming women, isn't it? Because how many women walk through a men's locker room with a fucking string hanging out their knickers? Go on. Is it the men in the locker room pestering the women about the string hanging out their knickers? No, it's fucking not. Maybe you should be raising your daughters better. Forget this, putting this on men. This entire scene is a gender switch of a situation that only includes women. Think about that for a minute. Why the fuck did you think you needed to frame this as a situation for men? Teach your daughters to be nicer people. The ad shows several of these everyday experiences, reframing them everyday experiences. You have these experiences every day? Fuck. Even when you're not in your rags. Fuck, that's terrible. Reframing them in an effort to destigmatize menstruation. Now, remember I mentioned the swimwear and the problem? Related. I worked out in my period shorts and it wasn't a total disaster. No, but it was a disaster, wasn't it? It wasn't great. You worked out in your swimming pants full of your bodily fluids, and it wasn't great, was it? Was it sitting on the seat going in your knickers? Fucking hell. This dumb bitch whose name I'm not even going to bother with, the chief brand officer for Dumb Shit Company, shared why the company took this approach in its new campaign in an interview. Part of our DNA is to start conversations and open up subjects we haven't been able to open up before. This is not a company creating and selling products. This is a company created to sell a doctrine, to sell feminist theory, to sell the theory that men don't give a flying fuck about women, and women should be allowed to swim in their knickers, and everyone should be happy to have a kiddie pool on the bed with its lovely red fluids and its little lumps and things. You know how it is. Anyway, the rest of this is a bitch and moan about how the ad won't get airtime because unfortunately the above ad won't be shown in its entirety, and I'm not going to show it to you now because fucking I'm not showing this shit. I'm not watching it myself. Entirely on TV. Why? Because traditional advertisements don't allow the sight of a half Nelson or a full erection. Oh wait, hang on. Don't allow the sight of blood. Well, what do you know? It goes both ways, doesn't it? It turns out they're not just censoring women. I wonder if you're allowed to show blood on a finger in an ad. Like, oh, I cut my finger, I'm going to put a band-aid on it. Or do you just advertise the band-aids? Right? A taboo against blood doesn't particularly mean menstrual blood. It just doesn't. But you can't show a dick. You can't play that ad that says, boys, when you get erect in the classroom, don't worry. Just free the hard on. Free the hard on. Get it out. Let the world see your pride. You don't want that ad either, do you? I don't want that ad. But this is not just a we don't want this shown because it's got women in it. No. The other problem they come up with is one of the the one with the string hanging out the knickers. Apparently they don't like that, and I'm wondering if it's more about the fact that they showed a guy in his knickers. Was he bulging a bit hard? Because if he was, or maybe you're suggesting, or maybe they're worried that you're suggesting he anally inserted one. I wonder what that says about his bowel problems. In any case, this is just a bitch and moan that these crappy indoctrination ads that they've created won't get played. They're hopeful that they can make change by putting the commercials out there. The only change you will bring is the initiated will watch them and feel that they are getting the message they approve, and people like me will say, you are fucking ridiculously stupid. Anyway, this is the one I wanted to address. This was where I was going with the first video of 2020. And I went back to October last year to find something. I'm actually just clearing my desktop to start the year. Might be another one. I've got another video that I may have already made it, so we'll see what happens. Other than that, we're heading on into 2020. We'll start on the 2020 subject soon. Don't expect me to talk about fires because I just don't give a flying fuck about the politics or the climate change or anything. We've got things to do in this country to recover from the fires, as we always do when we have fires, and let's just get on with that shit, shall we? This is me. I have been the anti-theocrat, and I will see you in the next one. May your gods remain fictional. Stay well.